And this is another collaboration with a theatre person. So Tim, you've seen before. Another collaboration. Wonderful Beast is a theatre company based in Suffolk, and I've done a lot of collaboration with them. My schoolwork, again, just performances. Now, bringing dance to people and places who might not access dance at all. And this project, a series of project I called Take a Chance. And I used a lot of props and then took the props away and got them moving and telling stories. And then I brought music and they danced to it. A women's group. And this was about bullying, that we made a piece in school. And my engagement with special needs children, disabled children. And then 6 years ago, we moved to Croydon, and I've been engaging with the community here. This is a piece of dance I made for the Croydon Mela. So we also, when I say we, Vipul and I, we curate the dance stage for dance for Croydon Mela and Dance Festival Croydon. So besides performing, teaching, I've also now got a hat of curating and programming dance across genres, so contemporary work. And this is just to say it's so wonderful to be able to connect to a large group of community and artists based in Croydon and across UK who continue to come not only join in the work that I do and continue to support everything that I do. And this is the Mayor of Croydon in one of the events that I ran. The curation started thanks to Big Dance. I don't know how many of you know Big Dance. So we did everything around Big Dance. We produced it here in Croydon. And then few awards that I've won. And I continue to journey. So I'm continuing to make work, contemporary work. This was a collaboration that I did with a company in America and toured there. I continue to reach out with my classical work and everything that I do. Thank you so much.
I think that makes it question time, people.
It does, totally.
Chat box at the ready. I have a question whilst people are getting ready for the box. You've worked in a whole range of situations and places. Sorry, I'm not very good at typing, so I'm just saying it. Have you ever found any venues or institutions, as you've been in hospitals and places like that have just said no? And how have you worked with that?
Oh, most certainly. Yes, very much. So for in something that I shared with you. So I feel very comfortable now in the dance sector. I don't know how many of you know that there's, different sectors. When I first came here, I didn't know any sector. For me, I danced and that was it. And I wanted to just collaborate with as many people. I had no idea that, this is called opera or this is called dance and this is called community dance. So initially when I came, the theater world, the literary world, the singing world was very open. Contemporary dance was not. So if I was to create work within a contemporary context, I had a lot of no's. And also, sometimes hospitals and daycare centers could turn up to say no. But that's a much more a recent occurrence, and because we have got a lot more concerned with health and safety and all of those things. But my first 10 years, 15 years, I could pretty much go anywhere and say, I'm Anusha, I've got a dance therapy degree, I'm interested in facilitating dance, movement, creating work, are you willing to chat? And most people would be. I actually have to add, not only to say thank you to Kiana and like you, my whole journey has been magical because I've had so many people support me. as an artist, as a person. So none of this could have happened without that support. Now, Sadak Underground Station, I'm not sure if it is possible to dance there today, but those days, we called them up. One of my dancer coordinated the whole thing, Sarah Wichlow, who's English. So my dance students also who I've taught don't necessarily come from an Indian background. They come from a European background. And funnily enough, his name was Osama. I still remember the name. He was the sweetest person, I think, from Turkey. He said yes to all of us. And the whole music was played from their tannoy. So it was heard by everyone. I don't know if I've answered your question, but yeah, that's my experience. Yeah.
Yes, and it's really just that interest. It is an ongoing challenge, and very much to do with the people who impose sometimes. But you've got more questions now, so I shall.
Yeah, that's lovely. And it'll be great if I can see your faces, Rupa, Jack, Joe, and Fenella, if that's okay. So lovely. Jackie, how do you view the current concern with decolonization, and does it affect your work and the way you tell story of colonial history? Well, let me try and say it from what I feel. It's quite a complicated question, but a very good one. And I think from my perspective, from my world, I think we are in a very good place of dialogue and conversation, not of guilt and blame. So we all take responsibility. And there, if we do that, then to tell the story is easier. For example, I did a collaboration with Howard Moody, who I did the Magna Carta with, on Gandhi. So we went to schools and community centers talking about Gandhi, which is, it's a story that's happening now. Big corporates taking on small companies. And so it was very well received, and people genuinely engaged with me about what it means today. So I think the most important thing to remember is that we share a history. Everybody who is British or English or Scottish or Welsh shares a history with me, not only because I'm British Asian today, even if I was Indian. There is a 400 years of shared history. That's a big amount. And I think if we don't have to use words like celebrate and things like that, because there might be some people who might be uncomfortable with the colonial period. But I think if we talk about a shared history and to recognize the shared history, and the way it'll change is if schools start teaching colonial history, because that's not taught at all. And therefore all this idea of racism hopefully will come down, because if people recognize, because some often I say, I ask people, do you know when did Britain come to India? 1600. When did they leave? 1947. So over 400 years. So it makes everybody Indian, because if Britain is in India, then it makes everybody Indian or everybody British. So I think that kind of dialogue hopefully will open up a space to talk about important issues, but to just recognize that we have a shared history, we can move forward. Thank you, Rupa, for that. I wondered if Anusha could explain a bit more about what it is about her own style of dance with her classical training that seems to connect so strongly. Oh, thank you so much. That's a lovely question. So I'll just very quickly do a little dance for all of you. And this is a very simple poem. So my dance style uses hand gestures, facial expression, but in its ethos, what I think is, to me, what it means is I and you, we are the same. We, we share the same creative space in ourselves. So that immediately for me connects each other. And this is also, like when you do namaste, if you can all hold your hands like this. So this is this, the word is namaste. Namaha means I bow, I connect, I recognize the creative space, the beauty in you, that is in me. So by for me, this kind of is the connector of everything. So whoever I look at, whatever I look at, it's the same. So I hope I answered that question. So I'll just do this very poem that I do very much for a lot of people. So Adharam madhuram, your lips are beautiful. Vadanam madhuram, your face is beautiful. Nayanam madhuram, you've got sparkle in your eyes. Hasitam madhuram, you smile, it's radiant. Hridayam madhuram, your heart is generous. Gamanam, your walk is beautiful, your gait. Madhuradhipate Akhilam Madhuram. So this is a poem about beauty, and it's a long verse. It's dedicated by the poet to Krishna. But for me, Krishna is all of us. So I tend to use the symbolism of Indian ideas, Indian ethos, and therefore it helps me connect with everybody.